Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Chief Sophia of the AmaruKhan Band of Indians, and this is our Cancer Equinox 2025 video. This video specifically is going to cover the lunar cycle. Now, the lunar cycle is really difficult to pin down. And so this is the best way that I can present it based on the information that I have. Technically, we are in day 26 of the lunar cycle, meaning the moon is on day 26 of its cycle. But because the moon is located at 19 degrees of Taurus, we are in the 18th or the 4th lunar mansion. Now, why is it 18 or 4th? In the Chinese zodiac, it's 18. Really, it's 17, but 18 is the one that lines up with the energy. In the Arabic houses, it's the 4th house. And it has to deal with the way that they calculate the numbers. Like, it's very complicated, the way that they do it. But because the moon is at 19 degrees and this is 18, I know that we're close. As we do more of these, we hopefully can get more precise on how to actually read the energy. Okay, so in the Chinese, I'm going to talk about the Chinese part. Then I'm going to talk about the spirit intelligence. And then I'm going to talk about the Arabic mansions. Okay. So for the Chinese cycle, this is day 18, which the region is the White Tiger of the West, or Bayako. And this represents the autumn season. Bayako is the king of the beasts and the symbol of strength and courage, associated with metal, power to ward off evil. Bayako has a following, and they've created this mandala. That's what you see on the screen. I have a picture of Bayako, the white tiger, and I also have the mandala. The mandala is very important because what they do with this mandala is, even though it looks like they just colored that in, they made that with the words that you see here at the bottom. And not necessarily just these words, but in general, they use this phrase to meditate on it and make beautiful images of it. If you just search Bayako mandala, you will see the website where they talk about how this process works. I did one of these mandalas way back in September when I was following the start of this cycle for the Lunar New Year, which I start, as I mentioned, the day after the Pisces full moon. And I just said, may there be peace on earth. And as you can see, the president he ain't talking about nothing but peace. All these warmongers everywhere around him, peace is what is still being pushed. And I know that's a direct effect of the people who have been following this Bayako mandala for a long time, and me putting my energy to it. So this 100% work. Now, you want to use it for peace. Okay. Can you give me a minute? Excuse me. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Okay. When I'm done, I'll get you some, okay? I'll get you some when I'm done, okay? I'm almost done. All right. I'm so sorry. Attack of the toddlers. This is absolutely as a result of people putting their energy into this mandala. So the mandala is, and you can just say this, or you can write this in the concentric circles. If you go to the Bayako website, you will see they have a template for how to do it. They talk about it really extensively, and I highly suggest that you go there and do that. Okay, so the mandala is mandala and mantra being used interchangeably. May peace prevail on earth. May peace be in our home and countries. May our missions be accomplished. We thank you, guardian divinities and guardian spirits. So it's very apt that this is starting with the White Tiger of the West, even though technically this is not the season for that. That's why it's really difficult to pin this down, because the moon moves very erratically, and you never exactly know what's going to be happening. So we'll be following this to see if we if more of this energy is put in, or exactly how this works, because honestly I don't know. All I'm doing is trying to share what makes sense from what I understand, because I'm telling you, this is quite difficult energy to pin down. Okay, so the Chinese name for this day or this mansion is Mao, which is the hairy head. The associated animal is the cockerel or the rooster. And a rooster energy is observant and confident. Roosters are known for their punctuality and strong opinions. The star here of focus is 17 Tauri Electra, which is, if you're into astronomy. The planet associated is the sun, which again makes sense because we're in yellow as far as the Jubilee cycle, so we know that ties into our other information. Omen is typically unlucky, but I think that's if you're just not in control. And the days here typically associated with this are May 20th to May 28th, which is way off. All right. The Chinese character for this mansion is a closed door surmounted by the sun. The ancients maintained that when Pleiades flickered, it presaged invasion by barbarians. And we see that in our solar calendar, we have this Apollon Vesta conjunction. So this is tied into this lunar energy. So I'm not sure how many people could put that together, but it's clearly in the energy. All right. So all right. The Pleiades were regarded as the ears and eyes of heavens. For this reason, they were said to preside over the end of criminal hearings or judicial proceedings. And like it said, the symbology in that 5 degrees of Scorpio, it said what? People who have this are, likely to get involved with a bunch of different court proceedings. And so we have this energy baked into this equinox. All right. It is said to presage lawsuits and deaths in the family, governing invasion, judgment, and punishment. Generally unfavorable for most things. The result of misjudged actions is regarded as heralding unhappiness. Marriages end with the separation of partners. Newborn children are as old men with white beards and near to the grave. So basically what they're saying is, or way I interpret this is that this is not great energy. But if you focus on peace, right, and you call on Bayako as the governing spirit animal to enforce the peace, that's how you can prevent what would typically be seen as unlucky. And also stay in alignment with the energies as presented in the solar and in the Jubilee. If you stay in alignment with harmony and peace, and literally this whole Cancer equinox is nothing but harmony and peace. Harmony and peace on the outside, harmony and peace in your Jubilee, harmony and peace in your lunar. If you can focus in on the harmony and the peace, you will be able to survive this equinox successfully. A lot of people are going to be beating the war drums. They're not going to survive this successfully. Countries still engaged in war at this time are probably not going to fare well, because that's not the energy that we're in. They're misreading the energy, like I always talk about. Okay. All right, so now let's talk about the spirit intelligence. It's Invitad. So the fourth head of the moon sphere protects the spiritualite against all underhand tricks and acts of revenge by hostile men. He or his subordinates, which he likes to put at the spiritualite's disposal or as familiar spirits, will reveal to the spiritualite any secret plans of his enemies, any intended acts of revenge or malice prior to their being carried out, and will advise the spiritualite on how to protect himself against malicious people. Invitad serving spirits are able to defeat any act of revenge planned by hostile men at the very moment of their origin. What kind of protection is that? This head of the moon sphere reveals to the spiritualite with a certain degree of maturity Words and formulae for banning, which enable the spiritualite to paralyze or even kill a person or whole groups of persons at the moment of their utterance. The spiritualite can bring about such effects over the greatest distances. The person concerned will die at once from a heart attack. Of course, also, temporary or lifelong paralysis can be affected by such words or formulae. They will, however, only be revealed to the magician, who would never think of misusing them. Be very careful cursing anybody right now. Me personally, I'm going to take this season, this year, and I'm not going to curse anybody. My last curse was my last curse. Like, I'm not going to do it because it will happen. So this is why you have to be in harmony, because it's very easy to get upset and to curse somebody, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be at peace for the next year, because I don't want this energy to accidentally go to somebody and I don't mean it. So this is why people are going to be taken out by these words, because they're going to speak the words and it's going to happen. Because again, whether you know it or not, this energy is at work. And so they want to get people arguing and fussing and fighting so that you can willingly take out the enemy that they want you to take out. So they will present you as an enemy. Know that the spirit intelligence is going to come forth, and you took out the enemy. They didn't take them out. They're over there somewhere. You did it because they propagandized you. Again, Neptune and Saturn. So you have to be very, very careful about allowing propaganda to influence your opinion on stuff. It's going to be really, really important. This is terrifying. This is terrifying. But also, and I want to say about this, I asked for my last, video that I made where I was talking about, Freedom Day. I asked for the Creator to give us the spirit that will surround us like a firewall and protect us. And that's the spirit. So when I said in my video, no, what I'm used to is getting the answers before I ask, that's what I meant. This is what I mean. I just pulled this information after I made the video. So I didn't know that this was the case. This is what I'm used to. This is how my life used to go before they interfered with it, or before Jupiter failed to connect with the sun in 2014 and everything got crazy. They went out of control with the propaganda in the Cancer slice of my chart. So this is basically what I'm used to. I asked for, this is the wall of fire. Listen, if this energy is activated for us, right? I mean, you can go and get the symbol or whatever, but this energy is activated for us. If anybody out there is even thinking about doing something against me for the next year, until we come back into the Cancer equinox in 2026, they're going to regret it. And I'm not going to have to do it. I'm not even going to know. They're just going to be poofed out of existence, because enough is enough. And that's exactly what I said in my video. And we have that supported here. Okay. So now let's talk about the Arabic lunar mansion. And for this, the Arabic lunar mansion is lunar mansion number 4, which is Aldebaran, which means the follower. Okay. When the moon is here, it's an auspicious time to exercise strength and tenacity in overcoming obstacles. If you know you have an entity that is going to stop evil plans at their source, now is the time to act with tenacity. Whatever you want, you need to go out there and grab it. We're trying to get prepared for our Jubilee. Now is the time to go get it. Go and get it. Okay, this is where you listen to those gospel songs that go get your life back. Go get your blessing. This is what this is. Go and get it. And so if you're not going and getting it right now, I don't know what to tell you. Now's the time to go and get it. Okay. So do pursue your goals, especially in business. Dive in and get something accomplished. Travel. Don't surrender because something is too hard. Avoid partnerships with those more powerful than you. Why? Because they are going to manipulate you. They're going to propagandize you into wishing for your defeat. And so you don't want to be dealing with those people right now. Like, I'm not more powerful than anybody. I just read words off the screen and that's about it. Like this is not power. This is reading. Okay. This is fundamental. So don't worry about working with me. But do worry about working with people who are like, oh, I'm the only one who has source of this knowledge. Look, I just told y'all exactly how I got this information. You can go and get it yourself. You can go and do it yourself. All of the instructions are on my channel. I'm not gatekeeping any of this knowledge. It makes no sense. Everybody needs to be able to do this for themselves. People should be able to check my work and say, hey, I think you calculated that wrong. So far, this is the story of my life. I write all these papers. Nobody will check my work. My whole dissertation was about 3/4 of the way done. I could never get a person to check my work. So I don't know what that is, but it seems to be a problem for me. Okay. So this is what different astrologers throughout the centuries have said about lunar mansion number 4. Alberini says, he's from the 11th century, Aldebaran is a large, shining red star in the easterly eye of Taurus. The head of Taurus is shaped like a bowl with its mouth to the north, while the muzzle of the bull, mouth and lips are directed south. Aldebaran, the follower of the Pleiades, is also called Tabi al-Najm. Okay, Abernegel in the 11th century. In astrology, Indian astrology is good for sewing, putting on new clothes, receiving women and feminine things, for demolishing and building or starting a new one, for making a journey, except for the third part of the day. The third part of the day would be at night. You need to be home, right? Dorotheus says good to build a house, which will be solid, and building in general, to dig a ditch, to buy slaves who will be loyal and honest, to buy livestock. Good time to hire people if you need to hire people, right? Also, not slaves, but hire, okay? Also good to be with kings and lords for receiving power or honors. Bad to contract marriage, since women will prefer another, or to enter partnerships, especially with those more powerful. Voyages will involve big waves. If captured, the captivity will be long, but if captured for skills, will be released through goodwill. So again, this is why you want to develop the skills. Picatrix in the 11th century says the 4th mansion is Aldebaran and is for the creation of enmity. When the moon has passed along this mansion, take red wax and fashion the image of an armed man riding a cavalry horse holding a serpent in his right hand. Cleanse the image with red myrrh and storax and say, you, Asteres, do such and such a thing and fulfill my request, and make your request from the things appertaining to enmity, separation, and the creation of evil desires. And it shall be completely as you have asked. And know that Asteres is the name of the Lord of this mansion. So that would be on the negatively polarized side, okay? Agrippa says in the 16th century, Aldebaran, eye or head of the Taurus. So this is why a hairy head makes sense, right? Destruction and hindrances of buildings, fountains, wells, gold mines, the flight of reptiles, and creates discord, revenge, separation, and enmity and ill will. A soldier on a horse holding a serpent in his right hand. So anybody trying to go into war right now, battle right now, is probably not going to do so well. I already said that. Okay, this is literally in the energy. Robson in the 20th century, Vivian Robson, Aldebaran, Alpha Taurus, the follower, causes the destruction and hindrances of buildings, fountains, wells, gold mines, the flight of creeping things, and begets discord. With the moon here, pursue business, travel, marry, and take medicine. Contracts, okay? Not, she said marry is okay, the other guy said no, right? Pierre Stocklinger says Aldebaran, the eye of Taurus, related to the star of the eye of the constellation of Taurus, one of the royal stars of antiquity, favorable for work, manufacture, and small trade, unfavorable for real estate, building, and everything having to do with mines. Listen, if people are trying to go down into the earth and gather things, not a good time for that. Not a good time for that. Not a good time for going down and gathering stuff that you stored underground. So all those people who believe that these celebrities or whoever are going to go to some secret, underground bunker and ride out this nuclear apocalypse they're trying to get us to believe in, it's not going to work out for them. It's not going to work out for them. All their stuff has been taken. Okay, it's going to be redistributed to those in need, starting with me for my jubilee. Okay. Christopher Warnock says Aldebaran indicates argument and anger. Its appearance often signifies chaos, enmity, struggle, and conflict. It can be an indication of strength too, but the situation requires restraint, lest we succumb to violence, either physical or emotional. This mansion can signify a contest of wills or a lawsuit. It indicates countervailing forces and often signifies hindrance and reaching our goals. It also reminds us, however, that without risk there is no gain. To achieve our goals, it is sometimes necessary to put forth furious effort. The treasure cannot be seized by the slow, the fearful, or the lazy. Aldebaran may extort us to seize the day, apply our greatest effort in order to reap rewards. So, you got to put forth the effort in order to get the rewards. There's no getting out of that. And so, I would say that don't curse people. Obviously, don't speak ill of people at all during this time, especially the next 3 months, but even for the next year, just avoid it, because those people are going to go away, and you don't want to create more contention in your life when you're trying to create the Jubilee, which is why I'm like, no, we got to celebrate. And this is like the foundation of that. If we can, again, stay in a harmonious thing, and let the let our spirit team outside of us fight the battles at the source, like Invitive, then we'll be fine. But if you try to fight the battle when you're supposed to be working, that's not going to be That's not going to be good. That's just like, you know how in the movies with the scientists are working, and then the guy who's this used to happen all the time in what's that show? Burn Notice too, but I was thinking about Leverage. I used to watch Leverage all the time. They would the main, well, there's a lot of main characters, but the black guy, he would be like, okay, all I need is X amount of time to get the stuff off the servers. And the fighting guy would say, okay, I got you. And so he would be fighting all these people, and the guy's working furiously on the computer, and the guy is fighting, and now the other girl is fighting, and everybody is fighting, and the black guy still sitting away on the computer. He's like, okay, got it. And then they're out of there. Like, that's what this energy feels like. It's going to be furied. It's going to be rushed. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I got to get all this stuff done. But that's because you got the enemy trying to get to you. Like, again, this Vesta Apollon conjunction is the enemy that's not going to stop trying. So let your spirit team fight the battles. That's what they're here for, using this mandala, this mantra, that I'm going to have peace, create peace inside your bubble, and get to work. That's literally what this whole reading is saying. Like, I could have boiled this down to that, you know what I mean? And so that'll be the end of our Cancer Equinox 2025 reading. I hope this has been helpful for you. Please check out my Cancer New Moon video that is already out and available for you to check out. Shalom, peace, and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.